Okay, you're on. Jeff?
Good evening. Welcome to the April 3rd, 2017 meeting of the Parks and Recreation and Seniors Commission. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 6:35 p.m. Monday evening. I'd like to ask the Commission's indulgence to move up two items from new business to the agenda right now. And we'll do it in two steps. One would be to make a motion to the Commission that they pass a motion to open the agenda, and then we'll make a motion to place upon the agenda the two items. So is there a motion to open the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. And I'd like to move what's currently listed as Agenda Item 9, New Business, Eagle Scout Project Proposal of Oscar Scott for the Lake Quanapug picnic tables. Oscar would be first, and second would be the Waves of Freedom organization dealing with a garden at Jacobs Beach.
Okay.
So we're doing that in the interest of convenience. Otherwise, you'd be here longer than maybe you'd like to be. But after you're finished, if you'd like to be, please feel free to be here.
So I
Oscar,
will move that.
yes, okay. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Oscar, would you come up to the microphone there, please? And if your advisor would like to come up, she can come up too, or he can come up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the rest of the posters.
Careful that cord.
Yeah, watch, yeah.
I'll have to move that.
All right, so for those of you guys who don't know what this project is, I'm Oscar Scott. I'm a Life Scout, and I'm looking to build 6 picnic tables up at the upper Lake Quanapug Pavilion. So these picnic tables are, I'm going to install them. They have to be heavy, that way people don't walk away with them. So they're going to be heavy, they're going to be cedar, and then I'm not going to put a finish on the cedar picnic tables. They're going to be all natural.
Yeah, there you go. How's that?
I plan ultimately on doing them in my driveway. I want to construct them all in my driveway. That way I'm not operating power tools at Lake Quanapug during the summer. And then I'm going to transport them up to Lake Quanapug and just put them in place using either the St. George Church van or a truck donated by the troop. And then as for funding, I'm hoping to use whatever funds Parks and Rec has set aside for the project, and then I'll try my best to fill in the rest. The initial number you guys see down at your material sheet is $2,900. That's just the flat-out rate. I haven't talked to Tuxas yet, told them it's an Eagle Scout project, and talked it down. Hopefully I can do that and try to limit or drop the price as much as I can. And then the table building activity here is not, I want to try to involve scouts of all ages, not just older scouts as most Eagle projects end up being. Because a lot of times with Eagle Scout projects, the younger scouts work for 20, 25 minutes, a half an hour, then they burn out. And then by 4 p.m., it's just 6 older scouts doing all the work. I want to try to do this project, maybe take a few breaks while we're at my house, in my driveway doing the project, but I want to try to keep all kids engaged for this project. Do you guys have any questions regarding it?
I think that's wonderful because it shows the younger kids what you can achieve as you get older. So I think it's really good to get the younger kids involved. Great job.
Do you have any picnic tables up there now?
There are 3 large picnic tables
Okay.
made out of cedar there, and then there is one red picnic table which is smaller, 6 feet.
You planning on keeping those there? Or
I spoke to Mr. Maynard, and he said that if they were in good shape, we would keep them there, and if they were falling apart, we would move them someplace else. And they looked to be in good shape when I checked it out.
And these would all fit under the,
Well,
Pavilion.
once I installed the
Thank you. I
6
knew there
new
was a word for
ones,
that.
they would fit under the pavilion, and then the 3 big ones that are there now, we can move out around the fireplace
Okay.
or wherever they can be moved on a case-by-case basis.
Did you talk with local lumber yards too, like Peter Marlowe, or to look at possibly getting some of the wood from there?
Yeah, I looked into the pricing for that place. I was able to find the best pricing at Tuxus overall, even without talking it down yet.
How close are you to being 18, or becoming 18?
I'm
That's
16 years old.
Okay, so you have plenty of time.
Yeah.
I don't mean to embarrass you by asking your age.
Yeah.
So,
But I know there's a deadline by which the project has to be completed.
so I guess the only thing I'm asking, as long as there's enough room for all these picnic tables.
There's a need for tables up there.
I would think
Yeah.
there is. I
Because
don't
we
know
have
what
more
they do.
people that are now
Well,
reserving that
actually,
pavilion.
Scouts go up there, and if there's always a need for more tables.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know,
I think it's a
Scouts
great
certainly
idea.
use that area a
Yeah.
lot, but also
Yeah.
the general public is using it more and more too.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's a great idea.
You actually could take the existing tables and put them down below, couldn't you? If you really wanted to.
Oh, that's the parking lot, right?
Yeah, well, there is that sort of
grass
lower
area.
That little-
grass area.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll find a place for them there. Or like you say, around near the campfire
The
ring or
campfire would
something.
be nice.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Rick, on the financing, do you have a recommendation on the total amount?
Well, we don't have that in our budget, that's probably our entire lumber budget. But I think we'd have to, look at some of the program funds if we were to do that.
Okay.
Do you have a target date and when you want to do this?
I was hoping to do it sometime during the summer. I want to have it all completed before the summer ends, hopefully towards the first half.
So it'll be after July 1st.
Yeah, right. And these are the prices that like, basically list price for the lumber and stuff. You probably get a better, usually the scouts get a little discount.
Yeah, once I tell them, I haven't told them it's for like a Boy Scout
Yeah.
company, or
Yeah.
Boy Scout project yet.
My guess
Hopefully I
is
can
something
drop
less than that.
Well, you can put a cap on, or say we can allocate this amount of money, if anything comes in less, that'll be.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can also try to do fundraising on the side if we fall short on that number.
I do like this idea a lot. So do we need a motion? Then I would really be happy to make the motion that we go ahead and let Oscar Scott make the 6 picnic tables for Lake Quantapug and cover half the cost.
I second it.
Is there a second?
She did.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, awesome, thank you.
And congratulations.
That's great.
I wish you success on it. I wish you success on gaining the Eagle Scout award as well. And also, as a follow-up to that, you might want to, from time to time, keep Rick Maynard apprised of your progress.
All right, yeah, I can totally do that, send them little
Okay.
updates. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. That's great.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
So Diane, now we can go and have picnics up at Lake
I
Quantapug.
know. I know.
I'll meet you for lunch.
Absolutely. I go there a lot during in between my 2 jobs.
Okay.
Waves of Freedom here. The next item on the agenda is a presentation by Waves of Freedom. Ladies? And you might want to start off by giving us your name and addresses for the record.
Hi, I'm Maggie Mandel, and this is Ellie Petra. We are 2 of the founders of Waves of Freedom. Our other partner, Lily Riccio, was unable to attend this afternoon. We're here to tell you about our plan for a shore plant garden at Jacobs Beach, and we're here to inform you about our program. Waves of Freedom is a nonprofit charity organization working to keep the shoreline clean and safe for all people and wildlife. We've held cleanups each year in the fall and spring, where we clean up trash on the beach with our volunteers, and we have bake sales and t-shirt sales where we raise money, and we were able to purchase a bike rack for Jacobs Beach with those donations.
2 years ago, the Connecticut Parks and Rec Association gave us the Youth Leadership Award, and this year we are recipients of the John Goodard $1,500 Award for Environmental Conservancy. And this year we created the idea to make a shore plant garden at Jacobs Beach using our knowledge of the plants that are found here. We plan to use some of the funds from our award for this shore garden, and we hope that it will add more beauty to Jacobs Beach, guard against erosion, and provide an environment for shoreline wildlife. This garden will educate the community on the importance of shore plants, as each species will have a small sign providing information about each plant.
The plants in this garden that we have chosen are blue oak grass, butterfly milkweed, New England aster, and salt meadow rush, and they are all Long Island natives, so we wouldn't be introducing any unknown plants into the environment. They need little water to survive, but so it'll keep them very low maintenance. And we have set up a schedule for Lily, Ellie, and I to take turns watering the garden, and volunteers have also offered.
The grasses will provide strengthening to the soil that they live in, which will help prevent erosion, and the bushes, like milkweed, will provide food for the shore animals, which will help to keep them well fed. We are planning on planting this garden during our beach cleanup, which is taking place this Earth Day, April 22nd, from 1 to 2:30. Here we will have dug holes in advance and ask the community or people who attend this event to plant the plants, which include some of the elementary school children.
We have found a website that we feel has the lowest prices. We searched a lot of websites online, and they're sold in gallon containers of about $10 each, and we were thinking about buying 3 gallons for each plant, so there's an ample amount of seeds planting, and then if they need replanting or anything that might go wrong. So the total for the plants would be about $120.
And we also feel as some signs would be good to inform the people about what plants and like what they're helping with. There will be 4 smaller signs which will explain what each plant is and what its purpose is here in the Shore Plant Garden. And we also think that a plaque of some sort with Waves of Freedom's name and the garden's name on it will be a beautiful addition. These signs will be a total of about $85 because each sign is $17 in addition to shipping and handling.
As you can see, this is quite an investment, but Waves of Freedom would be able to pay for all of the supplies for the garden from the grant we received, as stated earlier. Our design plan, it has 4 different sections for each of the different types of plants. Sign in each of the sections so that people can read about what the plant is and what its purpose there in the garden is. And then at the front of the Shore Plant Garden, just a little plaque with our name on it and the founders and any donations, big donations we got.
We're here to ask for your help and like your ideas. And overall, we just need plants, space, soil, and informational signs. We feel our plan is ready, but we are completely open to any and all suggestions or questions. If you have any questions that occur after this meeting, you can contact us at wofguilford@gmail.com. We thank you for your time today and hope you feel as positively about our plan as we do.
That's a very nice idea. I love it.
Question, how much square feet are you looking to planting?
I know Mr. Maynard set out a little bit of space that he thinks would be a good amount of space for our garden, but we haven't checked on the
You
square
haven't
foot.
plotted it out yet as to where you want to
We have
be?
like, did you say you put white lines out on?
Yeah, John Cunningham's been involved with this.
Yeah.
John
Okay,
went
so
down
this
there.
is our- Where is this going?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a bit, and
Okay.
John has kind of marked out a couple of possible areas where he thought would be a good spot for it. He approved the plants that they want to put in down there. If I can just, are you girls freshmen now?
Yes.
You started this in 5th grade?
Yes.
They started as Waves of Freedom in 5th grade, and they were doing cleanups down at the beach, and they would get 30, 40, 50 kids from their school, from Bolton, to come and help with the cleanup. And then the last couple of years, have been part of the town cleanup day and they picked Jacobs Beach. And as they mentioned, they raised money through bake sales and stuff, and the bike rack that we have, they paid for that with the fundraising that they did. So they've had Jacobs Beach has been a project of theirs since they've been in 5th grade. And so when they came with this idea, I bounced it off John, and then, John, we went back and forth a little bit about the kind of plants you wanted. And John was good with all those plants, and he did mark out a couple areas. One is right before the boat racks, there's a spruce tree or an evergreen tree there. He kind of did a little half sort of circle there. There's another one that's right behind a berm near the swing area, another spot he thought would be a good place to put it. So when you get a chance, go take a look, and depending on how many plants you want, that arc could be a little bigger, I guess, but anyway, John's been involved, he thought it was good what they wanted to do.
Great. As long as there's a spot for it. That was my big
Yeah.
concern too, is
Yeah.
where down there were you gonna put it?
Overseeing
But
it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great idea.
I think it's great.
And of course, over the years, how big the plants are gonna get, you know, to quantity
Mhm.
for.
10 years from
And we
now.
would be able to care for that. We would get volunteers to help us
Great.
for community service hours and such.
Oh, and also, as they mentioned, they got a statewide award from the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association at our state conference at the Mohegan Sun 2 years ago,
Yes.
I think. It's a dinner with all the Parks and Rec professionals from all over the state, and they got acknowledged as,
Good for
I
you.
think it was, I forgot which award it was, but it was a teen group, I think, or kids group, and they got, a couple nice plaques.
Great job.
Good.
Thank you.
I think
Very
it was great,
appreciative.
it was great that at the outset you asked us for suggestions and advice as your project goes forward. I guess I'm happy, and I'm sure the rest of the commission is happy to know that you've already been doing that. Not only with this project, but since you were in 5th grade. So, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very
Lot of
much.
effort,
And you're
thanks.
certainly going to
Thank you.
beautify the Jacobs Beach even more than it is right now.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion to approve this? Or is
Well, we need a motion to support it, yeah.
Well,
Yes,
So
absolutely.
moved.
Can I just ask one question?
Certainly.
Of
Julie,
course.
Who's gonna, are you people gonna maintain and follow through on the weeds and all that
Yes.
stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, you said a berm by the swings?
Mhm.
Is it out of the way of traffic, little kids running all over the plants?
It is, it's right adjacent to the berm, it's planted with bayberry, I think, anyway, there, and it's just like, it'd be part of the berm, sort of. So there's already, there are plantings there already, yeah.
Incorporated with it.
Mhm.
I think a motion would be in order.
Go get it.
Okay, do we wholeheartedly endorse Waves of Freedom for their garden at the beach?
I think we do.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Congratulations, and we'll be seeing you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very
It was
much.
a great idea, thank you.
Oh, that's great. Jeez.
Wonderful.
It's a great website, as a 5th graders, it's a great website.
So sweet.
I
I
remember reading.
I think this is the group that started it all.
Yeah. Exactly, and here they are, high school freshmen now.
That's kind of cool, they're following through
Yeah.
on it.
They're good. I think we've got 2 wonderful projects,
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
nice. Good. Okay, now we can go home.
Before
I mentioned that.
before we go on to a public forum, let me introduce the folks here, which I haven't done yet, as I usually do. And to my right is Sue Robbins, commission member. Diane Van Steenbergen to her right, Suzanne McDermott to Diane's right, and to my left, Rose Dostick, vice chair of the commission. And to Rose's left, Judy Sullivan, commission member. And around the corner there, Rick is the head of the Department of Parks, Recreation, Seniors Commission. And then to Rick's left is John Jagielski, a commission member. And to John's left is Catherine Stewart, our commission recording secretary. And in the back, we have Peter Schultz, our videographer.
He's waving. Yeah.
Item 2 on the agenda, public forum. Any comments, questions from the audience? No? I think we should know for the record that the Lake Quanapug, the Friends of Lake Quanapug Association is here as they have been, and I hope they'll continue to be here. Agenda item 3, correspondence. We have 3 items. The first one would be, Rick, and you want to handle this one. This was from Susan Bianconi for the assistance that she received from Patty Haggerty. That's her letter, her email, and following that would be your follow-up to that.
Yeah, it was just, it's always nice when we get an email of somebody, expressing their gratitude for the help someone from the department gave. In this particular case, she was complimenting Patty Haggerty, and I just sent a note back to her thanking her basically for her kind comments, and I let Patty know too that she got this letter. I think I gave actually a copy of it to Patty. But, you know, it's nice that people recognize our staff when they do some good things, and we like to let you folks know that too. And if we have letters that are not so good, we give those to you too. But it's nice getting these kind.
It was the follow-up, Patty's initial contact, follow-up.
Yes.
Follow-up.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's really
Especially
very
in
good at that.
a stressful income tax time.
Yeah, she stayed right on it.
And the next one is a handwritten note. It's from Nancy Hard on behalf of Charlie Ehrler, who I did not know, but some of you did know him. And Rick, it's just thanking us for the flowers that she'd sent to her and her family in their time of need.
Charlie's a former commission member many years ago, and so yes, we attended the wake there for him, and we got some flowers from the commission.
And the third one is from Ben Seibel to Rick about the Guilford Disc Golf Course. Rick, yeah, I was just going to say, Rick, at your option, you might want to cover it under Agenda Item 8C, disc golf.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
Okay. Item 4, approval of the March 6th, 2017 Commission meeting. See if we can get a motion to get it on the table, then we'll ask for comments or corrections. Is there a motion to approve the Parks and Recreation Commission minutes of March 6, 2017?
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, clarifications?
Nope.
Okay. And let's see, we'll have, on the vote, we'll have Suzanne will be excused, Diane and Judy. So all in favor of the motion to approve those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carries. Item 5, the review and approval of expenditures for March 2017. And that would be in a grand total of $96,025.44. Let's get a motion to approve them, and then we'll ask questions about it. Is there a motion to approve those expenditures?
Second.
Okay. Rick? Questions from the commission? I just have one, Rick. It's on the building maintenance. It's more informational than anything else. On page 2, though, we have the elevator maintenance from Schweitzer. Does that mean that they, for lack of a better word, they clean the inside of the
It's actually,
It's the elevator maintenance.
That's from this improved.
yeah.
Schweitzer's-
Schweitzer's the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then down below, the elevator maintenance, that's Thyssen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little hard because of the way it
Okay.
lines up.
Okay.
But yes,
Probably my disability.
so the dumpster's in 145, the elevator maintenance.
Oh, okay.
That's the quarterly payment.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I just thought that they also might, Schweitzer
Oh, yeah.
might just.
Come and clean it, yeah.
Yeah.
Good thought.
Garbage claim. We get your train of thought.
But we don't use the elevator for a dumpster, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I just have one question for Rick. The expenses that we're generating right now, as a performance towards budget, how close are we to being either at budget, above or below?
We're close, we're a little over, but that includes encumbered items, all the purchase orders that we have encumbered. We do blanket purchase orders for many of these vendors here, which means that every time we buy something, we have to do a whole nother purchase order. So let's say Page Hardware, for example, maybe we have, I'm gonna throw a number, maybe it was a $3,000 purchase order, we just draw down from that, but that's encumbered, so that goes against what we spent, even though we didn't spend it yet. So I'll know better in May. In some cases, in many cases, the POs, we didn't need everything we put on them, so we free money up at that point. But overall, we're in pretty good shape.
Do the elevators have to have code every so many years or updated that they're running properly?
Well, they're inspected every 2 months. The guy comes in, any work that has to be done, they do it as part of the maintenance contract we have with Tyson Krupp there.
The license is good for 3 years, isn't it?
No, I think it's yearly. Well, I think the permit, elevator permit, I think every year we pay that. It's not
Okay.
gonna last $35, I think.
No, I'm saying that we have to have a state inspection.
The state comes periodically, but we have these companies here every other month doing it.
Any other questions? All those in favor of approving the expenditures for March 2017 in the amount of $96,025.44, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 6, department reports. 6A, Rick, the director's report.
Well, I'll cover a couple, and I added a couple things that were not on this.
Okay.
Number 10, I thank you to Rose for helping us. We interviewed 11 applicants for the park maintenance position, full-time, plus we have 2 seasonal positions, so we kind of lumped everybody together, interviewed everybody. The candidate has not been hired yet, and Mitch is doing the background checks and checking references, so I can't say who it is, who we think it is, because we don't know yet until we get that from Mitch. But hopefully, that position will be filled within a week or two. Because as Anthony left us, 3 weeks ago maybe now? Maybe a month ago, and so we're getting into a real busy season right now, so we really need that position. He was,
Great.
yeah. Yeah.
Move
He-
on
He
and
moved to another
Yes.
department, another town, yeah.
Story of our life.
The other thing, just report that we have our Easter egg hunt extravaganza. It's going to be this Saturday. It was rained out, postponed from last Saturday. Hopefully this Saturday will be better weather. And that's at 10 o'clock. And that's always a great event. There's like 400 or 500 people, seeing those little, it's not an Easter egg hunt, it's a chocolate egg grab.
Gigantic circle.
Yeah, exactly. And we break it down by age group, so it's like 3 and under, so, you don't have the 10-year-olds, elbowing the little 1-year-olds out of the way, knocking them over. But we added something this year too. There are going to be some golden eggs scattered around different places all around the green, not just in that circle. And the people who get those golden eggs, I think there's some gift certificates we have or something.
Nice.
It's a little bit. It's more than just some chocolate eggs. It's something bigger than that.
Nice.
So it's a little addition to it. Then I also want to mention on April 22nd, we're having the Earth Fest. In fact, the girls from Waves of Freedom are going to be part of that. Well, they mentioned that's the day they're going to plant the flowers down at Jacobs Beach. And this is also part of the town cleanup day, which we inherited last year. It's the first year we took it over. It was run by volunteers for a lot of years. And, there were volunteers that did it for a long time. And, sometimes you don't volunteer forever. And so we were asked to kind of take it over, so we do. And so it's part of the town cleanup day. But with that is, if you went to last year on the green, we had that bicycle that we have that you can make smoothies out of. You actually make your own smoothies and you just ride it and pedal it. You can also do spin art for the kids with spin art on the same piece of equipment.
But
We'll have
we
that.
have our own bike now.
That's ours, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rented it last time, but now we
Yeah.
own it. There's going to be a farmer's market, and there are lots of other activities, games, entertainment. It's going to be at the fairgrounds,
Yeah,
though.
fairgrounds,
We moved it
that's
to the
right.
fairgrounds. The Ag Society wanted to be part of it, and there's going to be a little bit more of a farm sort of portion to it.
It
So
does.
that's where it's going to be this year.
What's
And we
up
think
with
it'll
the
be a
nursery?
big
And
event.
North Guilford Nurseries is being involved.
Well, they're not.
They're not. They did bow out?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did?
Yeah, there's some,
They did.
they were a part of it, but they're, I don't know if they're gonna go separate with the event they wanted, but they're not part of it this year. the Agricultural Society is, and they're working with us on some animals and that kind of thing. The only thing else I didn't put on the agenda in my report, I forgot actually, is the table for Chaffinch Island.
I was looking at the
Julie,
minutes about that.
what's Julie's last name? Johnson, yeah. We had scheduled a time to go there, and then we had to postpone that, and we were scheduled tomorrow. And I hope we don't get this downpour of rain, so we
rain
get
tomorrow,
postponed
yeah.
again, but I think this is our third try. I think one time it was raining hard, and we said, let's push it back to another day. And then the other day, it turned out I couldn't go, and then now it's scheduled for tomorrow.
Bring
so-
umbrellas.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. But that's it, unless there's any other questions on my report, I want to highlight those things.
Well, in terms of highlighting, Rick, and maybe in deference to our friends from the Friends of Lake Quantapug, you have under your number 4 some information about Lake Quantapug on an ongoing basis for
I can
this
do that
year.
if you want now. I was going to cover that under unfinished business, but I can do that now if you want.
But they may want to leave.
Okay. You're free to go. So we've ordered, we're in the process of ordering, I got the purchase order. Once the purchase order is cut, we can order 5 more of the benthic blankets, the barriers. Greg Bugby and I talked about that. We figured that we figured 5 more would be good. We can now extend it a little bit farther beyond the swim area because the weeds were starting to encroach in from there. And there's one that, when we took it out last year, it tore. It must have got caught on a rock maybe or something. We don't know what. But so we're purchasing 5. They're charging us the regular price for 4 and a discount for one of them because of the one that got
I
torn.
was
So they're
gonna
giving us
say,
a
are you
discount.
getting any kickback for the one?
Yeah,
that-
that's not their fault that it happened, you know,
That's
but,
still nice of them.
but they did it. Yeah, so those are in process. And Kevin McGee and Greg Bugby are completing the permit that we need to get from the state. It's basically just about completed. I have a copy of it downstairs. We just need to get an estimate from the weed control company. We need to put that into the permit, how much they estimate is gonna cost. So it's a 2-step, it's 2 permits actually they're applying for. One is to continue what we did last year, but we have to get a whole other permit to do again what we did last year, go back and relook at the north end in the area, the shoal area, we call it, where that shallow area is in sort of the middle of the lake. The plan is to touch that up, really hit it again. We don't know if they gotta do full blast treatment, we won't really know until they get out there and take a look, but based on the survey they did last fall, the control was good. But Greg Bugby thought it'd be a good idea, let's hit it again, let's get better control, and there's still money in the grant to do that. So that permit request is for that. And then the second phase would be after July 1st, to go to the south end, which is the area that the Friends of Lake Quantapug had requested, where the lily pads are. And Kevin's proposal is to, we can't clear cut it because of fish habitat in there, but he's recommending creating a 50-foot wide swath through that whole lily pad infested area, so you can get in there with kayaks. As you folks would know, and any others who try to kayak or canoe in there in late July or August, you can barely get in there. I mean, it's literally maybe 3-4 feet wide, that's it. It's just smothered with lily pads and other weeds. So the idea would be to harvest them, cut them down, and then also use a chemical application in that area to get rid of those weeds. So that's the plan, that's what they're applying for with the state permit. And I thank Kevin and Greg, because that's their expertise, and they're doing that part of it.
Why can't they take all the weeds out?
Fish habitat, and there are some protected species of weeds in that area. I should say weeds. Plant growth. Ooh, yeah, well, we protected weeds. There are some plants that are protected species, so we have to be careful of those and avoid those areas.
And just to go back a minute to the benthic blankets, I think we have one less regulatory process to go through this year, because inland wetlands has given us 5 years.
Right.
So we don't have to go through that every year.
Yeah.
So it's 5 years, and I don't see why it wouldn't be extended after 4 more years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're hoping to get those, well, once the purchase order is approved, yeah, I hope we can get them by the end of April, because we we
We
want to put them in for a
early
month.
last year, didn't we?
Yeah, it was
A
kind of
little
close, I
tight.
think it was about
Yeah.
April 28th around there, and we
Yeah.
left them in, I think we took them out right before Memorial Day.
Because the beach opens with Memorial Day
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
Right. And you really, you need to leave them in for a month.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, right, so we're hoping we can get that turned around and get them as quickly as possible and get them in there.
Folks have any questions?
No, just a comment.
Comments?
You know, about the weeds, some people like to get rid of all the weeds,
Mhm.
but our organization, and you know, talking with Craig Bugby, the lake is really a jewel of diversity. And one of the nice things about canoeing and using the lake is because of the animals and plants. It's not a question of getting rid of it, it's a question of controlling them so that the needs for recreation.
Balance.
And keeping it a really nice, you know, natural treasure in balance. It probably takes more work to do that, but it actually, I think is, overall, it's gonna actually be easier to control the weeds and try. If you get rid of them, it just causes all sorts of other problems.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Agenda 6B, Rick. Report of Park Foreman Tony Anicelli.
A couple things to highlight.
Self-explanatory, except for
Yeah.
a couple of things.
I think, Tony does a good job kind of filling in and what he's been working on, but, we're in helping the third bullet, they were helping the high school, they have ordered some new, it says synthetic goals, it's goals for the synthetic field, the new synthetic fields, they're not synthetic goals, but, I just want to clarify that, so it's soccer goals, they are synthetic anyway, yeah, they're not natural. The soccer goals, field hockey goals, and lacrosse goals that Jake Jarvis, the athletic director, has ordered were delivered, and we're just putting it together for them and getting them ready for that new synthetic turf field there. And as Tony mentioned, all the park signs are out now. We take them in for the winter if someone need touch-up paint, maybe the poles need painting or whatever, and then they put them back out. And then tennis nets are all set up, tennis courts are all open and ready for people to play on. And other than that, they're having, as you mentioned, I think they've only lined 2 out of 38 fields so far. It's just been too wet, and then the rain we're supposed to get tomorrow is going to set it back even more. They were doing some today, getting fields ready. Fields are not yet open. Today we opened for the first time natural fields, the non-synthetic fields. They've just been too wet. And so today was the first day, but now they're gonna be closed probably the rest of the week after, if we get the rain they're forecasting.
Just one quick question again, regarding the snowstorms. Overtime within budget to,
Yeah, I have to look back and look at that, John. I don't know. I mean, we really haven't had a lot of snowstorms. And
Right.
most of the budget for overtime is for that. We have a little bit in the summer when we come in and, get Little League fields ready for tournaments and things like that. But, or at the end of whenever the playoffs are, opening day, which come up in a couple of weeks, we have, 2 guys for that. But, I think overall we're in pretty good shape. We just didn't have a lot of storms.
the only reason why I'm pursuing this line here is that if we can keep our budget within standard, and maybe because of the budget cuts that we had facing us for 2017-18, that maybe we can transfer some of those costs from next year's budget into what money we have left over here. That'll help save us coming down the line. That's a common accounting practice, to,
Yeah, we can't, our money gets tied up, it goes back. We can't carry it
Goes
over.
back to the town. We don't carry it over.
We would love to.
well, then you gotta run this place like a business, because that's what we do.
I know, but you have to give it back.
If it gets, Armageddon snow again, then, like we did that one year, then
The town would have to give us the extra money
Yeah.
for the overtime, that's what would have to happen.
okay.
And
And they cut our budget, right?
There is a possibility, if we get this rain and we're gonna be set back, if we get a good day, Tony may ask me, is it okay if the guys stay a little late today so we can try to catch up? I'm gonna tell them yes. I mean, we gotta get these
Right.
fields ready for people. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And the last report is Terry Buckley's senior program report.
Busy. They're on the move.
They are always
I
busy.
think.
Yeah, it's awesome.
One thing that's not on here is the pickleball tournament in June.
Oh.
That's coming up on Saturday. So Judy, you wanna
Right.
tell them in on how that's
Well,
going?
last year, we did a little pickleball tournament, and we learned from last year, so we're gonna try again this year, and it's much larger, and we're gonna have it April 8th, and it's at the high school from 8:30 to 3.
Wow.
And the high school phys ed department, again, had the lines all lined for 10 courts, because they were doing badminton, and the pickleball court is the same size as badminton. So the courts are all lined up, and we're hoping 15 in men's doubles, 15 teams in mixed doubles, and then 15 teams women doubles. I don't think we're gonna have that many, but each year we learn how to better
Yeah.
organize. So
Great.
you learn as you go. And it's recreation, it's not sanctioned, it's just Guilford Park and Rec giving people different partners to play with.
Great.
People can go and attend and watch?
Yes.
And it's great that, that getting the senior citizens, I mean, the active 55-plus group, to be able to come and use that high school gymnasium, which is,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of why we did that last year, or, wanted to get that in there, to, allow them to come in and see that new facility and use it. So, and it was
That's
very
important,
successful
too.
last year. And I think, wasn't it your idea last year that one of the winning prizes was a jar of pickles?
Well, we were trying to keep
Were they
it
kosher
so
deals,
it
or-
wouldn't, it cost us a whole lot. So
Yeah.
we had some medallions, and then the winners got a jar of pickles and a medallion for first place. This year, we're more sophisticated. We have little
Oh.
trophies
Wow.
that the new
Okay.
hired
Wow.
Jen
Got them.
got them and worked
Is
out.
there gonna be a pickle
And
on it?
there's a pickle on it.
It's better than the
Just-
bunchy people get.
If people don't know why it's called pickleball,
I know.
when the people, the men out in Washington didn't have enough equipment for badminton, ping pong, or whatever, they improvised, and while they were playing and making up the rules, their dog Pickle kept stealing the ball. So that's why it's got the funny name of pickleball.
That's the story they're telling, though.
No, it's,
Doubts about
It
that.
was in
That's why they
the,
were pickles, were they?
they could have been that
That's
too.
the public version.
That's why it's pickleball. The dog kept stealing the ball.
Kind of like my dog ate the homework.
Thank you,
Become
Judy.
more popular with the seniors. I think it's drifting down because is in the curriculum at the high school for health and physical education.
Great.
Physical
Is it really?
education. And the only reason I've been so involved is because I knew the rules from having taught it.
Right.
So I'm just passing it on.
That's like the new reader program for the pickleball, when they get
Yeah.
to be in the over 55.
Yeah.
And we've had younger people want to sign up, and we're like, no, this is for 55 plus.
Gotta start your own league.
Yeah. Cute.
But on a related matter, though, it's not in this report, but Rose, what about your bocce organization?
We start April 18th, I believe, on Tuesday.
I read somewhere, though, you had an event or something? Or was I reading a different town newspaper?
No, you had a
Oh, the banquet, we had the banquet
Yeah.
back in the fall.
Oh, okay.
That was fun, we had it in the fall.
I read it
They,
last- I read it
Ruth
last week.
Famioli organizes that every year. We
Okay.
always have a banquet at the end of the fall season.
Okay.
There was about 40 people in bocce, I think, right?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, that's two big programs.
We play basically April to the end of June. Then we stop July and August because of the beach, down at the beach. And then we pick up again September till
But I'm
mid-October
thinking more
or
about the
so.
banquet, but okay, it was.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are we finished with Terry's report? I mean, it's
Yep.
more than speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It does. And it has been a busy place.
Yes.
Amazing what they do in a month.
Big spike in the milk for February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's quite a jump there. Well, the other thing I guess I'll mention, the pizza in the movie, Jackie, that was last Tuesday night, and we had 60, I believe, 60 people there for that, and it was homemade pizzas. Larry and actually Terry's husband and daughter helped.
Oh, I love it.
Made the pizzas, and so people had pizza, and then we went to the other side of the Guilford Room there, and the movie Jackie. And it was actually, my wife and I went to it too, and there were about 60 people. It was well attended.
Just a question on, on the last sentence, on the first part of Terry's report. When it says clarified new bus driver physical facility, what does that mean? Facilities connotes a building? Or is that? Or- Well, you could ask her.
I think it's, I think it might be,
Meant to be ability?
we have a new facility, the town, for urgent care, which was for workers' comp and for physicals like this, the town just switched from one company to another one. So I'm wondering, I'm thinking she probably meant that, to, you know, where, it's a new facility. And there's it's not really regulation so much, it's forms that have to be filled out when somebody goes to that facility. I think that's what she meant on that. It's for workers' comp, but also where we send our bus drivers when they have to get a physical.
Agenda item 7, report of commission/staff representatives to commissions. 7A, Standing Fields Committee.
Well, they're actually meeting right now. The meeting was postponed from last week because they didn't have enough people that were going to be available. But I can tell you, some of the things they're talking about is, you know, we're still working on the Cox project, which actually, it looks a lot better now than it did back when you brought those rocks that time. The grass is actually starting to fill in some, but the contractor, I sent him a letter with his proposal of what he's going to do and when. So we're working on getting him to come back and finish that field. We're also still working with, trying to get the high school, the contractor for the high school new sod field. There's still a sizable drainage problem that we are not going to allow ourselves to inherit, because it's a
Good.
problem in the design, I think, or the construction, I should say. And so we're, Paul Smith's been in touch with, I think he's the acting chairman of the high school building committee, Bill Mulligan, to now, we need help from them to push these guys to come back and do something there, because the field isn't playable right now. And the high school track team is on it. It's also the area where their discus circle is, and they gotta walk through mud to go retrieve the discus, and it's not acceptable the way it is. And we don't want us to, Parks and Rec, to be stuck with that problem, and now we're gonna have to fix it. So it's still under warranty, and we're pushing to have their contractor come back and do something with it.
Good.
The last thing is, we just were informed last week, and we had a meeting at Adams Little League Fields on Sunday. Adams, we're hosting the state Little League Championships this year. I don't mean we, but the Guilford Little League is, but of course, we're going to have considerable involvement with that. So Tony and I were there meeting with representatives of the field committee, a guy from the state Little League organization, and Guilford Little League representatives on the field on Sunday, kind of looking at, okay, what is it? What are the expectations? Parking is an issue, and we kind of worked out where we think they can park, and so it's a good thing for Guilford Little League to be hosting it. It'd be nice if one of their teams gets in it. That'd be really nice. But no matter what, you know, it's going to be in Guilford this year. And it happens to be the same weekend as the softball Sting tournament, which is totally unrelated. That's the same weekend on different fields, and so it's going to be a busy weekend.
Are we going to be able to handle all of this?
Well, it sounds like, at least for the weekend, there's probably not a lot we would have to do with the Little League tournament. It's not like a whole bunch of games, maybe 1, 2 games maximum. I was thinking if they had 3 or 4 games,
I
we'd
think
have to
it's
come
gonna
in
be-
and
Would be 3 maximum.
groom the fields in between, but they sound like that, if they're using Adams A and B, the 2 fields there, there'd be 2 games, 2 times maximum that they'd be using the field on a Saturday, 2 times on a Sunday.
And it's only at Adams?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
That is gonna be a problem with parking into it. There's, yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, we suggest a couple areas, like next to the tennis court, in that grass area there, we can kind of rope it off and create a little parking there, and they'll have to just walk across the field. We looked at some options there, and I think we can meet, well, I know we can meet the requirements they have, because the guy who was there said, yeah, you fulfill everything that we would require. And
Okay.
parking was part of that, and,
Good.
so, our crew are good, they'll do everything they can to make that field look as good as we make it
Oh, I
look,
know they will.
for the games. And it'll be good for Guilford.
Mhm. Okay.
7A, Green Committee.
They have not met, there's a meeting, they're trying to get a meeting next week, a special meeting, but again, because it's not a regular scheduled meeting, they're trying to find out who's available when, and so I don't know when that's going to be, but we have not met since our last meeting.
7C, the Land Acquisition Commission. We have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday at 7:30 in the Town Hall. One of the items on the agenda is a generic one, which is the priority property updates. And that's always held in executive session. If we do discuss anything in executive session that pertains to what we do as a Parks and Recreation Commission, I'll then bring it back to the Parks and Recreation Commission, and we'll have an executive session to talk about that, just as we did with another property about a year ago.
Can you just explain maybe for the viewers, maybe the purpose or their goals for that group, Land Acquisition Commission? I've had a couple of people ask me, what do they do? What's that about? So maybe for,
Well, it's an arm of the Board of Selectmen. If the Land Acquisition Commission did not exist, the Board of Selectmen themselves, or any of their staff members, will have to develop or track down properties which they might be interested in. They meaning the Board of Selectmen and the town might be interested in buying or acquiring. So they, as an asset to them, they established the Land Acquisition Commission. And this commission does that. It looks for sites, sees sites, makes site visitations, makes recommendations then to the Board of Selectmen for a site that the Board of Selectmen might find to be suitable. And one of the main reasons why things like that are done in executive session is, the glib answer is because the Connecticut Freedom of Information Statute allows them to do that. But the reason behind the reason is that to discuss a property that the town might be interested in, or the land acquisition might be interested in, to discuss that might compromise its position in terms of trying to negotiate a favorable price for that. So if let's say the town were somehow interested in John Jagelski's house, that would be done in executive session, because if John knew about that ahead of time, his sales price, well, yours too, his sales price might be astronomical.
Absolutely, go for it.
So that's the reason. And there are several properties that have a greater or lesser priority that shift with the needs of the town. And the commission really works very hard on that, particularly Keith Bishop, who is the chairperson of it. So he works very hard on that. And his main resource person is Kevin McGee from the town. So the two of them work very hard, then they discuss it with us. So that's what we do.
good?
Agenda item 8, unfinished business. repair and refurbishing of the community center. Last month, I think, Rick, you had some notes from Todd, but I look to you, to Todd, and to Rose for any updates that we might have had since then.
He's been working up here.
Yeah.
He's made some repairs to the walls out in the hallway.
Yeah.
And actually, right
He's been
here.
doing some painting right here too, and painted them, so he's done quite a bit.
Yeah.
But we are having the place painted.
Yes,
That's in the budget.
is it,
Yes.
so far?
So far. So he has been working on some of the rooms, doing a lot of repairs and doing some painting and getting some stuff done.
And the emergency.
Yes, the emergency signs are up.
Good.
We did that, yeah. I keep at them, don't worry. I'm here 3-4 times a week. I just keep it in.
She does, she pokes her head in, I can
I
vouch for
keep
that.
working at this, so we're getting there, guys. Every day we make progress, inch by inch. Yeah.
8B, the Jacobs Beach Boardwalk extension.
Nothing really new to tell, unless you know something. Will Thompson is still working on the process, the steps to keep moving forward, but I have not heard anything recent from him, so I think it's just marching ahead through the process.
Because I think, yeah, last month he was still waiting to get the state permit, I think, for, from
Yes.
Jeff Shamus on the environmental stuff. And Les, I haven't heard anything that's
Yeah.
come in yet.
Okay, that's it.
8C, disc golf.
Oh, my favorite.
That's where we have Ben Seidler's communication to Rick.
So Tony and I walked with Ben, we finally connected, we tried a few times, and we went to Peddlers Park and Bittner, we walked all around, all those areas, well, we didn't walk all of Bittner, I mean, Bittner's big.
Big, yes, quite.
But we walked sections of it, and in pretty much all of Peddlers we walked, though, even, the area down where the dirt pile is, and then the area along Peddlers Road, that sort of flatter area. We walked all of that, and we went there first, actually, then we went to Bittner, and then I said, well, as we were walking through, I asked him, well, what do you think? And he said, well, either one can work. Bittner is a lot larger. Peddlers is, I think, 30 acres, I think is what it is, and, Bittner is like 140.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of Bittner is already actively used, so that's out, but the area that we looked at in Bittner that he liked was, let me think, we looked at two areas. I think it was if you go beyond the skate park on the trout, going toward the trout trail, like the trout trail then goes along the river, but it's kind of a main walking path, and you get, I call it the cedar meadow, because there's sort of an area where there's a bunch of cedar trees, and he liked that because it's a circle, it kind of loops around. And he liked the idea you could be on the main trail and have, hole 1 over here, and then shoot back toward the trail to hole 2, almost a zigzag, back and forth. And then you kind of loop around, and then it goes over an area where there's a little waterfall. I think you'd have to look at it, more detailed to kind of figure out and map it out and get an aerial view of it and kind of map it out. But he liked the terrain, he liked the area that's above the soccer field, there's some ledges up there. In fact, I was kidding him, boy, if these trees weren't here and you threw the discus, you could probably hit the sea field, which is probably about 800 feet away. I mean, some of you have seen the guy, he's like Atlas, he's a big, big guy. But anyway, it's up to the commission what we want to do, if we want to move forward at either place. He did like, according to his note, I said, well, can you just send us a note what you think was your preference? And his preference was Bittner for a lot of reasons. One, it has all the parking already, and knowing we have limited, well, we don't have any really designated, the funds got cut out of our budget to do this. He said you probably, you already got parking, there are restroom facilities there during season. There's already a lot of activity there. It's easy to get to for people. It's, right on Route 77. And so I just asked him, well, compared to other places that you see and you play, what do you think of this potential here? He thought it was really good.
I think you try to strike a balance between fairways and also wooded areas.
Mhm.
You know, and they did that successfully at the Guilford Lakes Golf
Right.
Course. Where would the fairways be at either of those two places?
Well, wooded areas, they're not open very much. You know, they're not wide open fairways, they're pretty narrow. And so, again, when we were walking, he was looking at, he kind of said, okay, that tree, you know, he kind of pointed to some trees would have to come down. Nothing any bigger than this. You know, all the big trees would stay. And he said that's part of the challenge. You know, when you have trees, the disc golfers like that. It's more challenging than it was at the golf course. It was mostly wide open there. There wouldn't be anything large would have to come down, really. Nothing, again, nothing I'd say more than 6 or 8 inch diameter. You know, again, as we were walking, he was looking, all the lower brush would just be cut out. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's maybe 1 inch, 2 inch diameter, little seedlings. Those would all come out. And he even said, once you start clearing those out, you're gonna see this is gonna open up a lot when you take all that lower growth stuff out. You know, you really, it would look a lot different, because you get all that little stuff that congests the eye almost. When you look and see all this stuff, and so you started taking that out, it'll look a lot more open than it is, even keeping all the big trees in.
So it's just involved in removing trees and lower brush?
Yeah.
And then they would just put up the, whatever they call them.
The tees, or, you know, in the baskets.
Right.
And, you know, he, again, with his experience, he thought there could be a lot of fundraising that could be done, that there are people that would pay for it. The baskets are, I think, around $320 each, you know, that businesses probably would buy those. Or the tee markers, where it'd be like the tee could just be just a natural ground. It could be synthetic turf, or it could be stone dust. It can be as simple or as complex as you want to make it. Some places it's just the natural ground. You just say, here's where you shoot from. But there are others that are like a little boxed in area in stone dust. I've also talked to, in addition to Oscar Scott, there are 3 other young men looking to do their Eagle Scout projects. And I've mentioned to all of them the possibility of helping with disc golf, of maybe building the tees. I haven't heard back from anybody yet on that. But I always try to give a list of possible projects, and the picnic tables was one of them that I had given to Oscar. But I'm hoping that maybe there'll be either a scout troop as a troop project, or an Eagle Scout that want to take it on to build the tees. That'd be a good sized project for them. If not, it's something that Ben can get volunteers to do it. I look at the dog park as sort of being the model for this, that we say, here's where it can go. Go get the volunteers, run it through us, so we make sure we prove what you want to do there, and then once it's approved, go do it. And that's, you know, the dog park was, I'd say, 98% volunteer effort.
And do you think Ben would spearhead something like that?
I think he would. He's got when we did that project, the tournament at the golf course, there was a guy from Durham who, Ben knows his name, I don't remember, but he's a tree guy. That's what he does for a living. He said, if you're gonna build one of these courses, I'll come and I'll take down the trees for you, at no cost. He said, that's what I do for a living. I'm just committed to disc golf. If there's a place in Guilford, I wouldn't have to travel all over the place. I can come down from Durham and play. So there's a strong group of guys who do this. Tony now goes and plays at a lot. He's been to places, and he's seeing volunteers out there that are out, you know, doing helping maintain these courses. And so there's a group of people who do this. They just love to do it.
I'm sorry. Is there a time I have 2 questions. Is there a time in the near future where you could take us up to show us where exactly they're thinking of putting
Sure.
this?
Maybe if Ben could come, and he could give you ideas that he has, you know, his vision is a lot different from mine. 'Cause-
It sounds like just if you took us up there and said, you know, this is the area, and, you know, this is, I mean, we don't have
Yeah.
to.
It sounds
make a
like
big
the
thing out of
same
this.
area we kind of looked at for the dog park, or is it
We looked
no?
at
It's much bigger than that, but,
But in that area.
yeah, by the parking lot and then beyond it,
Yeah,
going down, back, you know, like toward Baldwin School, not
Going
that
back
far,
more.
but, yeah, past
So,
the
yeah, so
dog.
I would really like to
no.
have you take us up there and show us
Sure.
exactly where it would be.
Mhm.
I know there's a certain analogy between what the dog park did in terms of financing and suggested, but the dog park is almost completely self-funding, almost.
Right.
And that's the beauty of that. I would think, though, that disc golf would be almost completely funded by the town of Guilford, though.
Or donations, you know,
Well,
something like a
well,
business
donations,
sponsor,
but-
like, so let's say
We know how
Bishops,
much
for
the golf
example,
cart
the
raised.
sponsored hole one or something, you know, then, he mentioned like, one of the golf courses, one of the holes is like, the sign is that this hole sponsored by Naples Pizza, let's say, or whatever, and it says, which is 3.1 miles from here, you know? So, I mean, that's,
So here's-
I mean, during the design and building of it, though, I think the town or
And this department would bear the brunt of those initial costs, though.
I think there would definitely be costs, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but, I think there were businesses that will help.
So
And-
can we do this? Can you, I really would love to go ahead with this. I think this is really
I think we need
where
to
we
pick
need
the
to go.
spot.
But I think I think what we need is we need some sort of a cost breakdown. And what do you think you could easily get donated? What do you think we probably will have to pay for? Just so that, I mean, I don't know whether we're talking $100 that we'd have to put in, $1,000, $10,000. So it would help us to know, you know, just a ballpark, really.
Sure.
What might this cost us?
So what comes to my mind is always the maintenance. You know, it's park and rec, like, so to maintain that,
Yeah.
you know, brush is gonna grow and
Right.
things are gonna grow and,
Right. So just,
Yeah.
if you could break that down, you know, just in general, not, I know it won't be exact.
And then also to
But
ask
I need
them,
a
what would be
ballpark.
the ongoing contribution from this group of people? Just like with the dog park,
Right, right.
they've taken that on. Would there be a group that would take that on?
Sure.
Is that part of their plan to, you know, incorporate their
Is
use
this
with
all-
also giving back to the site?
is disc golf like an all ages? I mean, is it, so it's all ages, it's like, it doesn't just necessarily older people or younger people, it's kind of like all around, yeah.
Probably
More
mostly younger
like
people.
golf, like, yeah.
And men and women?
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
I think you said the biggest demographic is 18 to 35, but there were, you know, that tournament, there were senior citizens playing, older, you know, not old,
We can move.
there were people that were
throw discs.
beyond 70.
We can't throw it
Careful.
straight, but we can throw it.
Yeah. Men and women, and there were some little kids, like 9, 10-year-old kids in it. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something that you cross-reference with the Golf Commission, because they have their tees sponsored by businesses in town. So we could probably find out what the going rate for them, because they do have placards on each tee box for each business that has sponsored each hole.
Yeah, because there would be a sign, like Ben did at the golf course. He even did like a little map sort of at hole one, so or T1, so you knew what direction, where you're throwing toward. And he had like a little map for a fairway marker map, basically for each one.
golf, you can do as many holes as you want, like a 9 or an 18, or is it?
I think 18 is what he's thinking. That's what is the most popular.
But
There are also
there'd be nothing to
selling things
prevent
at
them
the,
from doing
I mean,
36.
is there any?
Yeah, that's right.
And most of them are just open, you know, and I talked with the Parks and Recreation Director in Wallingford, they have a course there, and in Bristol, they have two.
Wow.
And I've talked to both directors there, and I asked, well, typically, how many people do you get? And he said, on an average day, 30 to 50 people are playing disc golf on those courses.
So if they, so how do they find the maintenance to be? I assume they
Mostly-
maintain it.
Mostly
Do they-
volunteers. Mostly it's volunteer effort.
Mostly it's volunteers,
Yeah.
so they didn't really have to send their guys out all the time and.
It may, I can't say ever, but maybe
No,
some.
not
but-
all,
but-
I'm just saying, but it's
But
not-
I'd say generally speaking, the volunteers help keep it up. Like Tony said, when he played in the winter at some of these courses, the one in Wallingford, and there were guys there with shovels, shoveling off the tee.
right.
And they were shoveling off, and they'd shovel the tee and go
Okay,
throw and
all right, fair
lose
enough.
lose their frisbee in the snow. and-
But
Fair enough.
If they were playing here, let's say, during the week, it's not likely that we would have a system where they'd have to pay.
Right.
They would have to pay on the weekends where we'd have somebody there collecting the money.
Well, I'd say that almost all the disc golf courses are free.
Are free.
Yeah.
They're just
If we
there.
have tournaments, though, they would be.
If there's a
that
tournament,
would-
yeah, like we did at the golf course,
Yeah.
then we could charge
That
for the
would be
tournament.
different, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say if we had to do some fundraising, we wanted to do some improvements or whatever, we do a tournament, the money from the tournament could go toward whatever we,
Need
to fundraise, what we needed to do on that course.
I think Rose makes a good suggestion
Yeah.
in getting a site visit to it. I'm just, I know where I think we should go which site we should go with. But I'm hesitant to bring it to a vote tonight until we see that.
Yeah, sure.
And then we could do that in conjunction with whatever you can get for us. So I guess my suggestion was, depending on the weather, we should schedule a visit for something in advance of our next meeting. So we as a commission can make the site walk or site visitation.
Yeah.
And that will give you time to get some data together so
Okay.
we can probably go where we think we want to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other uncertainty, which might be partially resolved by then, is the town budget. Because the
18.
the 18th of April is the budget referendum. So that would bring us into our May meeting. And then the other thing that may or may not have an impact on it this year is, whatever we are going to do or we're planning to do or might do with the Guilford Lakes Golf Course, who may want to have a tournament there this spring. I mean, I haven't heard, through you or anybody, Chris Hodgson, the chairman, whether they're planning to do that this spring. I just don't know.
I don't know. I
They're
think
probably
they-
waiting for their budget.
I think they just hired a pro, or they're just about to. Ted Ty did call me and said at some point he wants to bring the pro here to meet with us here and, staff, and what can we do to help them, if they want to do golf lessons, can we help promote it, that kind of thing. So I don't know who that person is yet, but I believe the Board of Selectmen approved somebody, I think at the meeting last month. Not today, but the last meeting.
Is the
Yeah.
starting date after the budget, after July 1 or before, do you know?
I think they were trying to get them in this spring.
Okay.
I think,
Because it's not in the
I wanna
budget for
say
this
they-
spring. It's in the budget for next July.
Yeah.
They can-
I want to say they hired somebody.
I think they did, and I think
And
he's
to
starting in the
meet the
spring.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that for
The
sure,
golf
but,
Course opened April 1st.
yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
But we'll know.
Mhm. So I'll,
So why don't we just table it?
I'll talk to Ben and try to get some of those
Yeah.
cost
Based on those
estimates.
3 contingencies.
And you want me to just email everybody at some point, and say, pick some, want to pick some dates now, possible dates to go up there, or?
Well, why don't you email us?
We're missing
Okay.
some folks, though, and we
Yeah.
just.
We're missing 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Even if we do it on a Saturday morning, first thing or something. Most people are available then.
Yeah.
For the people on the commission who still work.
Yep. Cool stuff.
No, next.
You mean the agenda?
Yes.
You're not too early, people that need to sleep in.
Well, we only have a few more things.
Being
We have
stiff.
1, 2, 3, we have 3 things, Judy.
Two things, let's go. The grass shack and the roof replacement.
We have budget.
Oh, budget, I'm sorry.
Budget
That's
next.
more informational in
Yeah,
terms of
budget
the budget
is
meeting.
not
Well,
much to
while
say.
Rick's taking notes, it's budget's 8D. The annual town budget meeting is tomorrow evening, 7:30 downstairs.
Oh.
And that's almost always adjourned to a budget referendum
Right.
of all the electors, and that's scheduled for April 18th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're here at 6 a.m.,
You're out of
you
luck.
have to wait.
Get a cup of coffee.
Get a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Okay.
What's up with the grass shack?
Grass Island Shack, the dedication is tentatively scheduled for May 20th. I'm sure we'll get an official notice, and I'll make sure you folks know about that. Maybe I'll know by our May meeting. But John Markowski, the scout who did the renovations there, he wants to do the dedication. Dedication? No, it might be his court of honor. I think it's the dedication and maybe his court of honor too, but I think he wants to do it at the shack. Yeah.
So somebody asked me about this today, believe it or not. Now, they want to know, are you going to boat everybody over to the island, or are you just going to? This is a serious question. Well, there's not enough places to park to walk it, so that is out.
We're getting water taxis.
So that's what they want to know. Are you going to really do that, or are you just going to put everybody over on the dock to just watch from there?
Get a drone and do a closed circuit television.
Swim across.
Right,
You
There's no
can.
parking there.
There is no
Well,
parking,
there's
that's
not,
correct.
but
You can park in the state DEP lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny you brought that up, because Joe had asked me, I guess Joe Maz had some residents are concerned that people do park on Neck Road, and there is no
Yeah,
parking
there's
there.
no parking.
And the only way to get to Grass Island Shack, to walk there, is you have to you have to walk from Neck Road. It's about a half-mile walk, it's a very long beach to get there. It's very nice, actually. But there's no parking, and so Joe had asked me if I could check with the state, would they allow parking on the dirt road access to the boat ramp? Not in the parking lot, because that's a pretty long walk from there, but by Neck Road, that end of it. So I did speak with somebody from DEP, their boating division oversees that, and they basically said no, because it's dirt, and they're worried about erosion, if people are parking there, erosion. And I guess their state statutes say that parking is only for boat ramp use, bird watching, and fishing, I think. So you can't like park on the roadway going in.
So there's not a lot of parking on the docks.
What about the day of using the buses here? Just transfer
shuttle
people
them?
there. Yeah, shuttle them.
Because there's not a lot of parking down there, really.
No, I think really, seriously, I think a water taxi would be a lot simpler, because it's right there, because it's a walk, it is a long walk, it's a half mile along the sand, the beach to get there. It's pretty.
And it's very tiny roads, et cetera,
Yes.
down there, so to
Yes,
get
it
a
is.
bus coming and
Yeah,
going.
it's pretty narrow,
I
yeah.
don't think,
And that's the issue people have with people
The
parking there,
residents.
it's kind of one lane, really,
Yeah,
it's not
it is
very,
not.
very wide.
At the end of Neck Road, though, there's Neck Road
It starts on Route 1 by the old schoolhouse deli,
Right.
then it becomes Circular Avenue or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But then at some point, somehow returns to Neck Road.
Yeah.
And I think there are 8 houses there, 4 on each side. I believe you can park there.
The very end.
You can park, you can't block the driveways. and- yeah.
But there's not much room.
No, well, you can put maybe 8 cars at most.
You think that many?
And I think that's the problem, is that people who live there have had concerns about people parking there. It makes it very narrow, so if
That's
an
what you do.
emergency vehicle had to get in, it could be tough, or maybe they're blocking driveways.
I understand,
Yeah, so,
I understand.
but I think for his event, I think he'll probably get some people with boats that can shuttle
Okay.
people over there.
Are they expecting a large crowd?
Yeah, I don't know. Typically again, I can't remember, I'm sorry, I can't remember if it was the dedication or his court of honor or both. The court of honor, you've probably been to some, I've been to some, you get a pretty good, 50,
Over 50 to 100.
100 people, yeah.
I don't think there'd be a lot of people.
It'd be nice if they had like a speaker. And like people wanted to stay at the dockside, so you could just
like
hear it at least.
Yeah.
Bullhorn or
Or, yeah.
They
He's
might
done a
do
lot
that.
of promoting very successfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why you wouldn't continue to do it, too.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? That's-
I'll keep you posted, though, as soon as I know something.
It's on my calendar.
Yep.
Any other new business?
Roof replacement.
Yeah, the roof replacement, it's, the specs and plans are going, I have to go to the building committee meeting tomorrow night. It's gonna be presented by Hacks, that's the architectural firm that's doing the work. Steve Neidorf, our facilities manager, has looked at the specifications and plans, and he had some questions, which Todd actually forwarded his questions to the architect. I don't know the resolution of that, because that was, I think, Friday, I think that was. Didn't get a chance to talk to either one of them today, but, I mean, basically, I'm going to the meeting because it's our, it's our building,
Yeah.
but the presentation's from Hacks. I'm not a roof guy, so it's up, he's got to present the plans to them, and I'll just be there representing our department. And that'll be at the building meeting tomorrow night. And so, assuming if they approve it, then, it'll be going out to bid, and my best guess is the work's probably gonna be in the summer. I don't think it's gonna happen in the spring. By the time to get out to bid, get everybody signed up, and ready to go, and get it approved by the Board of Selectmen, I think we're talking probably after July 1st, but the money's in this year's budget.
And so we're not going to paint until the roof is done, right?
Right.
You have to run it by the Historic District Commission.
Well, yeah, there's a little
Yeah.
debate on that. If we were told if it's the same shingles, they wouldn't have to, but if the shingles are different, they would.
Yeah,
know.
but I think
You'll know.
you still should say, this is what we're gonna do, and let them say, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's the
I think
same
that's
as what you did
Good
before.
Okay.
safe on that.
So the first, we have to get building committee approval first
Well, that's
anyway,
right.
and then,
Yeah.
we kind of debated about that, did it have to go there, and we weren't sure, so you just clarified it.
It is.
Yeah,
Better dot all your i's and cross all your t's.
Yeah, really.
I suppose the summer might be better, because if you try to do it now with the rain and everything else,
Yeah.
you probably can't.
Well, the other thing too with the summer is there's less seem to be less
A
activities
little bit less, yeah.
around here, so, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're
And
more
so there's not so many,
focused.
like the Sills program is over, and,
Mhm.
because you come down here, you can't find a place to
Yeah.
park in the lot.
No, you can't.
So,
Right.
you know, and then all of these special lunches, and the
Yeah.
place
You're
is
right.
so
Take up
busy.
3 or 4
Yeah.
parking spots.
So summer's better,
Trips are away anyway.
less
Trips.
parking. Yep, there's a lot here, that's the thing. A lot of the Sills programs are here.
George's for some of the trips.
They do,
Some.
for the trips.
That helps, though.
But all the speakers, you know, Pete Seeger, a lot of the stuff is here, and, you know, and then, yeah, I mean, we had trouble last week, was it the Italian class? And it came on you know, after the St. Patrick's lunch, and there was no place to park. There was just, you know, it's wonderful, but you
No, I
can't
know.
have people here doing the
No,
roof when
I
all of
know.
these things are going
No,
on,
you're right.
so
We have
it's
something
much
for the
better in the
Italians and for
summer.
the Irish the same day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Went down and watched the dancers, then went to talk Italian.
We did the Lake Quantified, right?
Yeah.
That was right then?
Yeah.
So under new business, I had just 2 questions. I'm concerned about, did we ever establish how we're going to handle the cutting of the grass at the high school on that sloped area? Because that kind of was not really tightened up last year, and I'm really concerned about our guys out there in that particular spot. If, number one, we've established, is it safe, not safe? And then what are we gonna do about removing the grass and replacing it with ground cover so that that keeps them off of that hill?
We never did get anything back from the architectural company. We did talk about that, and I met up there with, if you remember, with our insurance representative. And he basically also said, if your mower, what he said, check the rating of the mower, what the slope rating is, and our mower is not rated to do that. So there is a product that Tony found last year we used that actually really helped a lot. It's a growth retardant. It's something you put in the spray down, I think, it's a spray thing. And so, I mean, I think they did mow it, but maybe twice all last year, you know, but we don't want to mow it at all. So I think maybe we put the retardant down a couple times. It keeps the grass from growing, basically. Or the other option is we just don't. You just let it, it's just gonna be tall grass. Because there isn't, or we plant something else there, but it shouldn't be us planting it,
No,
you know, I
no,
mean.
definitely not,
But
I
we,
really think it's something we have to address. We need to keep them off of that hill.
Yeah.
God forbid anything
How
happen,
many square feet
it's on our
is that
radar.
area that you're talking about?
I don't know, it's a pretty good bank. It's behind the JV softball field.
Okay,
Or behind the backstop.
okay.
It is steep, it's a fairly big area. There's a steeper areas behind the, at the scoreboard area of the varsity softball field. It's much shorter, but very steep.
I know.
And so there, again, they put that growth retardant down last year, and that helped. They did some weed whacking on some of that, they didn't use mowers on it all, they did some weed whacking, they seem to be okay with that, but you can't use mowers on any
Can
of
we
that.
let Tony know, you know, ahead of time? No guys on that hill?
Yeah.
Just so that it's clearly communicated to them that even though that was done last year, this year, we're on a different plan, that nobody goes on that hill. And that in the meantime, you figure out what's the best option to handle it so that there's no need for them to go there.
I think baseball season starts this week here.
Actually, it started Saturday.
Who's
First.
responsible to determine what went on that hill? I mean, I know we mow where grass needs to be, but who determined that it was gonna be grass and not plants?
No, it wasn't a Park and Rec project, so not us.
That would be building committee.
Well, then I think maybe they need to, so have we told them that we have concerns about this?
I spoke with, who did I speak with? I'm trying to think, was it somebody in the committee or, I think Dr. Freeman, when we were talking about coming up with something else there, that he agreed we should look into as a whole, look into some plantings or something there.
So maybe we need to remind them of
Yeah.
that.
Is it like a good candidate for a retaining wall or anything?
You know, Rick, there's
No.
sufficient liability there.
Yeah.
You should probably reduce that to writing. Doesn't have to be just to protect.
I think a clear communication.
And they need to clearly
Yeah.
know that
Just to
we're not
protect
gonna
the
send our
environment.
guys on that hill.
It's liability. It's a liability.
That's what I'm
We need to
saying. I
figure
think we
that
need to
And a
establish
safety
the
issue.
communication is clear cut that
Yeah.
as of now, no one's going on there.
Did you ask John Cunningham about about it as a landscape designer, how he thinks it should be mowed or not mowed?
Yeah, but that's not our responsibility.
Well, we know we're not
Well,
mowing
just-
it, it's more
Sue's
just,
looking for answers.
yeah,
Right.
it's,
I mean, John would, you know.
I would give
It's
it, I
too
would give the
steep to
charge
mow
to the high
preemptive.
school, it's there, and the building committee and whatever, whoever handles that umbrella of activity on the outside is to say, guys, we're not mowing it, so figure out what you're gonna do with
Yeah,
it. We
expressed
cannot
those
do it.
concerns all along the way that that was gonna be a problem.
It may not be on their radar and
Yeah.
their, priority list, but it's on ours because
Yeah.
the spring season is coming up, or mowing season's coming up, and we're not gonna be there doing it in that area, so
We'll be on
figure
there.
out.
I'll send a note to the school principal to let him know that we aren't gonna be able to do it, and
Yeah.
then,
I think putting something in writing and clear communication to the right parties is important because it is mowing season. And our insurance told us, don't do it. And we can't, our guys, we need to keep everybody
Keep
safe
them
in
safe.
town, so.
Absolutely.
The other
What's
thing.
the other thing?
The other thing I had was, do we have a date or what the plan is to fix the parking lot at Nut Plains? It's really bad.
no,
By
Tony,
the
I talked about
dog
it, he's talked with, Public Works does that for us.
Uh-huh.
And, we actually talked about ordering the stone and trying to get that pretty soon, and
Yeah, it's
whenever they
really
go
bad
out,
right now.
they gotta do that. Jacobs is pretty bad, and, Chittenden too.
Mm-hmm.
All those lots have a lot of potholes.
So do we have a date for that, or can we
No.
push that so that?
It's up to Public Works, we have to just kind of, we need to get the stone, so, we haven't ordered the stone yet. Tony was looking at some prices this week, last week on that. There are two places we can get the stone at Tilcon. There's another place that Tony found. They said, well, let's compare the prices, let's, get an idea of where we can get it from, and then we'll get the stone there, and then, once we have the stone, we'll get Public Works to spread it for us.
Maybe we push that?
Yeah.
It is bad, I'm
Yeah.
afraid someone's gonna hurt themselves on it. I don't know about the other parks, you said they're bad, so I'm
Jacobs
only,
is bad, too.
yeah, that's getting worse, but, especially with games starting up, and
Yeah,
that's all I have.
okay.
Any other new business? Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn?
Judy Sullivan from the back row seconded the motion.
The lady in the back row.
With the bad back.
Did she do something wrong, Jack? You sent her to the corner.
I wouldn't dare.
So here's the question. What constitutes a city
Do we need to, are we
I just
adjourned?
wanted-
So,
Do we have to make a second and adjourn, or he's
did.
got his light on? We did? Okay.
We did.
Oh, that's right, we did. Where am I?
Cut the end.
so